In Chapter 6, we're going to start talking about polynomials. And in 6.1, we're going to add and subtract them. So some of the first things that we need to know what term and coefficient. So a term is anything that's between the plus or minus. Here though, so let's say 3x to the 4, that's a term. X to the 3, we could have just 3. We could also have x times x plus 1. Here, this is one term because it's multiplied with the multiplication in between here. If, though, we distribute, then we'll have two terms, and that would be x squared plus x. The coefficient is just whatever number is in front of the variable or the letter. So here, the coefficient is 3. This one has a coefficient of 1. So let's say we have 3x to the 7. The coefficient is 3. If we have negative 2x to the 3, the coefficient is negative 2. The negative sign is included. Also, if we have negative x to the 3, the coefficient here is going to be the negative 1. If there's no number in front of the variable, then the coefficient is 1. If, though, there is a negative, the negative part is part of the coefficient. So now, what we're going to have is polynomials in x. Okay, so that just means that all of our variables or letter is just going to be x. So the real definition of this is a finite sum of terms in the form of ax to the n. A is a real number and n is a whole number. So whatever exponent, it has to be a whole number. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are to be no x in the denominator. So if you have any x terms or any x's in the denominator or whatever variable they're using, then it's not going to be a polynomial. Also, this n, it has to be a positive number or 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so some different types that you're going to see. A monomial has one term. So it could be 3, it could be x, it could be x to the 5, whatever. A binomial has two terms. So something like x plus 4 or x squared plus 3x. These are binomials. They have two terms. A trinomial has three terms. So these will be more like x squared plus x plus 1, x to the cubed plus x plus 5. Anytime there are three terms, it's a trinomial. If it has more than that, then it's just going to be some other polynomial. We don't need to worry about the names for those. Just monomial, one term. Binomial, two terms. Trinomial, three terms. Remember, you can't have negative exponents or x's in the denominator. If you do, then it's not a polynomial. Okay, so the degree of the polynomial equals the biggest exponent value of x. So the degree of the polynomial. So if we have something like 3x to the 3 plus 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. Okay, so what we're going to do is look at all of the exponents here. But first off, I'm going to write this one is actually 2x to the 1, even though we don't see it. And this one is 2x to the 0, actually, because if you remember, say we have 2x to the 0, anything raised to the 0 just equals 1. So this equals 2 times 1, which equals 2. So if you just have a number with no x's, then the degree is 0. So what we're going to do here is look at all of our exponents. So we have a 3, a 2, a 1, and a 0. So what this means is that if we want to find the degree here is just 3. And all you're going to do on the questions like this is look for the biggest number of the exponent, and that's going to be your answer for degree. If you just have an x with no exponents, your degree is going to be 1. If all you have are numbers with no x's, then your degree is going to be 0. Okay, so the next part of the assignment is going to be simplifying polynomials by combining like terms. And we've done this before. So say we have negative 6y plus 8y. All we're going to do is combine the coefficients. So 8 minus 6 is 2y. If we have 6y minus 8y, that's going to be 6 minus 8, which is negative 2y. Then, let's say we have x to the 3 plus x plus 3y plus 7y squared plus 4x minus 2x to the 3. Okay, so what we have to do is combine like terms. So what I'm going to do first is rearrange this so that like terms are next to each other. I'm going to start with the first one, which is x to the 3. I'm going to cross that out because I know I did that one. Then I'm going to look for more x to the 3's, and I don't have one until the last one, so I'm going to put minus 2x to the 3. Cross that one out. Then I'm just going to start with the next one, plus x. Then I'm going to look for more that just have x's, and there's a plus 4x. And then that's the end. So I'm going to start back at the beginning, plus 3y. And I don't see any more that are just y's, so then I have a plus 7y squared. Okay, so I've done all of them that I have. Now you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. A lot of people don't. But you do have to get every single term involved. So now I have x to the 3, 1x to the 3, minus 2x to the 3. So that's negative 1x to the 3, or just negative x to the 3. Then I have plus 1x, plus 4x, so plus 5x, and then plus 3y, and plus 7y squared. Note that I'm not adding the x to the 3 and the x, because those aren't like terms. They have to have the same letter and the same exponent to be considered like terms. But let's say that we have 3x to the 3 y squared plus 7xy plus 17x squared y to the 3 plus x to the 3 y squared minus 6xy minus y. Okay, so again, now here we have x to the 3 y squared and x squared y to the 3. Even though the letters and the numbers are the same, they're not exactly the same, because this one is x to the 3, this one is x to the squared. That means they're different. So I'm going to rearrange these. 3x to the 3 y squared. I'm going to look for another one that has x to the 3 y squared. And I have plus 1 x to the 3 y squared. So plus x to the 3 y squared. and that's all I have left. Then I'm going to start with this next one, plus 7xy, and I'm going to look for another, and I have a minus 6xy. And then the next term I have is plus 17x squared y to the 3, and I don't have any more of those, but I have a minus y. Okay, so now I'm going to combine the like terms there. And I'm going to have a 3x to the 3 plus 1x, 3x to the 3 y squared plus 1x to the 3 y squared. So that's 4x to the 3 y squared. I have a 7xy minus 6xy, so plus 1xy. And then just plus 17x squared y to the 3 minus y. At this point, you don't really have to put them in any kind of descending order. You'll see that you will later, but right now it's fine just to leave it as it is. And then there's going to be some, let's see. Okay, so next we're going to add polynomials. So to add polynomials, all we're going to do is combine like terms. The first thing we can do is remove the parentheses and then combine like terms. Okay, so what we have here is going to be x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus x squared minus 6x plus 9. So the first thing I'm going to do, whenever we have a plus in between here, is just pretend that plus isn't there. So x squared minus, or the parentheses aren't there. X squared plus 10x plus 25 plus x squared minus 6x plus 9. All I did was recopy everything, but without the parentheses. So now I'm going to combine like terms. So we have an x squared plus x squared, so 2x squared, minus 10x minus 6x is minus 16x, plus 25 plus 9 is plus 34. Okay? So then, let's say that we have 3x to the 5 minus 7x to the 3 plus 2x minus 1 plus, and then in parentheses, 3x to the 3 minus 2x. So we can have ones that have different numbers of terms in each polynomial. So again, I'm just going to get rid of the parentheses. 3x to the 5 minus 7x to the 3 plus 2x minus 1 plus 3x to the 3 minus 2x. And now I just combine like terms. I have a 3x to the 5 and no more x to the 5s, so I just have 3x to the 5. Then I have minus 7x to the 3 plus 3x to the 3, so minus 4x to the 3. I have a 2x minus 2x, so that just becomes 0. And I have a minus 1. You could, if you want, put the plus 0x. Normally, you won't get marked incorrect. My math lab may, for some of them, the questions like this, and it may not for others. I wouldn't put this in, but technically, you're correct even if you do. Okay, now to subtract polynomials, what you're going to do is change the sign of all terms in the second polynomial and then combine. So really what you're doing is you're distributing the negative sign throughout the second polynomial. But if you want, you can just think of it as changing the sign of everything. So let's say we have 9x plus 5 is the first one, and then minus, in parentheses, 4x minus 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy the first one with no parentheses, so 9x plus 5, and then here we have a 4x, so we're going to say minus 4x, and we have a minus 3, so we're going to say plus 3. So now we can combine like terms. 9x minus 4x is 5x, and 5 plus 3 is plus 8. So 5x plus 8. Then, let's say that we have 2x squared minus 4x plus 3 minus x squared minus 8x plus 9. So the first one, we're just going to copy back, or again, 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. This was just a positive x squared, so it becomes minus x squared. This is minus 8, so it becomes plus 8x. This was plus 9, so it becomes minus 9. And now we'll combine like terms. 2x squared minus 1x squared is x squared. We have a minus 4x plus 8x, so plus 4x. We have a plus 3 minus 9, so minus 6. So our answer here is x squared plus 4x minus 6. Okay, then you might have some word problems. Say it says subtract 3x plus 1 from the sum of 4x minus 3 and 12x minus 5. So when we say subtract from, that means it's going to be minus this. And this part's a sum, so I'm just going to put this as 4x minus 3 plus 12x minus 5, and then minus the 3x plus 1. So now I'm going to just get rid of the parentheses. We have 4x minus 3 plus 12x minus 5. Now when we're subtracting, we have to change the sign of everything inside here. So 3x becomes minus 3x, plus 1 becomes minus 1. And now combined like terms, we have 4x plus 12x minus 3x. 4 plus 12 is 16, minus 3 is 13x. We have minus 3, minus 5, minus 1, which becomes minus 9. So 13x minus 9. Do one more of these. Let's say that we have x squared plus 2xy plus y plus 7x squared minus 9xy plus 3. Okay, this is a plus. Okay, so this is the plus, so we're just going to get rid of the parentheses. X squared plus 2xy plus y plus 7x squared minus 9xy plus 3. Okay, so now we can combine like terms. We have x squared plus 7x squared, so 8x squared. We have a 2xy minus 9xy. So that's going to be minus 7xy. We have a plus y. We have no other y's, so plus y. And then we have a plus 3. And there are no other just numbers, so that's it. This one, we had 3 terms in the first binomial or trinomial, and then we had another trinomial. We end up with 4 terms because the y and the 3 won't combine.